Did this DoorDash driver spray pepper spray on the food order? This right here are what nightmares are made of. These are the things people try not to think about when they order DoorDash. The worst thing that could possibly happen is this. Insane.
Now take a look at this. That woman is a DoorDash driver delivering a food order. After putting the order down, she sprays the bag.
Evil
Was
shit.
it pepper spray? The woman who ate it started feeling sick. When she and her husband checked the doorbell camera video, they saw that shocking moment. Ann Mercogliano has the details.
A DoorDash delivery woman drops off a bag of food and takes a photo to document the delivery. So far, so good. The food was delivered to homeowner Mark Hardin's front door in Evansville, Indiana. The meal was from Arby's. Then something happened to his wife, Mandy.
She started eating and she started coughing and gasping. Next thing I know that she's gagging enough that it's made her throw up. And I come in here and I noticed that there was some type of spray on the bag. And that's when I went back and watched the footage from my doorbell camera and realized that the food had been tampered with.
You can say that again. When Cardin watched the footage, he noticed that after the driver snapped the photo, she sprayed something that he believes is pepper spray right on the bag.
What an evil act.
With the delivery driver pepper spray a customer's food, did they even know who she was?
I've never met her before in our life. Just walk up to our house, spray pepper spray on our food.
That's the
Was
worst
she
part.
unhappy with the tip? Here's a receipt from the order. It shows they tipped $2 on the nearly $28 meal. That's just a 7% tip. I spoke to Sheriff Noah Robinson.
Are you disturbed by what you see on this video?
I am deeply alarmed and disappointed. We're taking the matter very seriously, and we're going to do everything in our power to ensure that this person is held accountable for their actions.
DoorDash tells us they have a zero tolerance for this type of appalling behavior, and the driver has been permanently removed from the platform. They also say they are cooperating with the investigation.
I mean, it's almost worse to find out that she didn't know the people. You at least would feel a bit of comfort if you think to yourself, maybe she's like a crazy ex. And then you find out like, no, she's just a terrible individual who doesn't care. Think of the worst possible situation as somebody who has a child. The one thing I thought is like, what if a baby had that to eat and you seriously injured a child's life? That's why this is very, very, very evil. Bad enough, of course, this is an adult, but that's where my mind went. So you got a few more of these comments. Top comment here says, DoorDash just hiring psychopaths these days. Yeah, that's what I thought of that chick. You guys know who I'm talking about. Somebody else here added, she should be arrested for this. Here's another person that says, that's attempted murder. Yeah. Another person here added, lock her up. Another person here says, DoorDash needs to change the app so drivers can't see the tips until the end of their shift. That way they have no clue who's tipping and how much. This actually would be a good move. Now the person here added, the tipping culture in America is actually stupid. Well, what's crazy about this whole thing is they actually tipped her. They actually tipped her. Now, was she mad that she got tipped not what she wanted? Who cares? Somebody else who says messing with someone's food is a felony. Here's another person who added, DoorDash is going downhill fast. This right here is horrible publicity for DoorDash. Somebody else here added, first it was the DoorDash girl and now it's just a door. The Coffee Pot is backed by fathershaverights.com, the ultimate prenup prep guide for men who value marriage in our modern day. Future husbands, the divorce industry makes billions when men walk into a lawyer's office unprepared. Don't let the system profit from your ignorance. My step-by-step guide at fathershaverights.com, created with expert attorneys James Sexton and the lead attorney, hands you the questions, checklists, and strategy to walk in 10 steps ahead. And it costs only a couple of dinner dates. Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section, secure your future, and join the hundreds of men preparing their marriages the right way. Next comment here reads, how miserable can you be? Another person who says she literally signed up to drive DoorDash. Here's somebody else who says food tampering is illegal and she should face charges. I can only imagine the crazy stuff that we don't hear about. The crazy stuff that we don't hear about that people go through. And this is stuff that's just like people, and I don't want to say this, because I say it, now you're thinking it, I'm thinking it, now we're overthinking, and we never order DoorDash again. But part of what went through my mind is, what about the things that people just do just because they just want to be sick? Right? It doesn't really mess with you, but they just know they did something atrocious to your food. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that in your head, but that's just what went through mine. This is what happens when you have no belief in God and don't think anyone's watching you, is you do stuff like this. And of course, I'm just going to take a wild guess here. I'm going to guess she's not a conservative chick, probably liberal. Same with the DoorDash girl who's currently going viral. And yes, I'm going to cover that too.
A DoorDash driver delivered an order to a couple and then sprayed the food with pepper spray because she allegedly was not happy with the tip that had been left on the order. And I'm going to roll the clips real quick. And you know that saying that's like you can't eat at everybody's house? I feel the exact same way about delivery services. You do not know what the inside of that person's car looks like. You do not know what happens to your food in between them leaving the restaurant and you having the food physically in your hands. And mind you, the only reason that they found out she had done this was because the wife started eating and she started feeling really, really sick, to the point of like throwing up. And the husband had noticed that there was something sprayed on the outside of the bag. And so he decided to look at the Ring camera and saw her tampering with the food, which, mind you, is a felony. A felony. If she's found guilty of this, she is going to jail. And a lot of people are saying, like, this is a reason why, like, delivery drivers shouldn't be able to see their tip until after the order has been completed. And, you know, I just want to throw this out there. I hate to say it because I tip on every single order, but tipping is not mandatory. Somebody not tipping or not leaving a good tip is not a valid enough reason for you to put something on or in their food that is going to make them sick. That is not a good enough reason. And I'm sorry, but this last year has just shown that DoorDash will legitimately hire like anybody with a vehicle and a pulse. And that is why I don't like ordering from delivery services. Absolutely not. Not playing with my food like that. Nope.
Did y'all hear about the blue-haired water buffalo that pepper sprayed a random couple's food?
A DoorDash delivery woman drops off a bag of food and the meal was from Arby's. She sprayed something that he believes is pepper spray right on the bag. Why would the delivery driver pepper spray a customer's food?
Everybody's trying to figure out the motive. Like, why would she do that? Because that blue-haired creature, she didn't know them folks. Not at all. But I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. She got triggered by that Arby's. Yeah, that's my theory. She saw one of them roast beef sandwiches. It reminded her of her own downstairsies, and she just wigged out. You can tell that that shit is not bubblegum pink. That shit is definitely roast beef brown. It probably looks like a grenade went off in a deli. And she decided to make it those two people's problem. Prove me wrong. Bet you can't.
As somebody who has DoorDash for years at this point as like side money, because I'm smart enough to know that it is not consistent money, I'm telling you, DoorDash drivers can be the most entitled, insensitive people you will ever meet. Or know or see. I'm telling you. And it's so frustrating being a decent person with this gig, because bad people will literally ruin that trust that you could possibly have with your customer and the trust that you could have with the fast food workers or anywhere where you're picking up a DoorDash order. I just seen a video of a girl. Apparently she was dropping an order off. The lady started eating and then she started choking. They went back and watched the camera. They are now thinking that the lady pepper sprayed the food. Upset about a tip. I, in my DoorDash group, I stay in it because if the app is down or if something is wrong, people will talk about it and I'll know about it. But honestly, at this point, other than that, it's no longer helpful because all they do is get on there and complain about people who don't tip. I had a guy who posted a chat. Okay, it was between him and his customer. And his customer was like, "Hey, you forgot my drink." And he was like, what did he say? Oh, he said, "I didn't get paid enough." Oh no, he said they didn't give it to me. And he said it's on the receipt. Because mind you, to DoorDash now, you accept the order, you have to take a photo of the receipt. Even if there isn't one, they show you what you're picking up. Even if there isn't like if you didn't see that, you could still ask, "Hey, was there a drink with this? Could I get the receipt for this?" Plain and simple. He didn't do that. Okay? He leaves. No drink. And then the customer is like, "It's on the receipt." And he goes, "I didn't get paid enough to make sure you had your drink." Then goes back and forth with people in the comments who are agreeing with him, and it's like, yeah, that's crazy. He didn't tip me. He didn't give me this, and he should have gave me that. And I'm like, sir, providing a drink that they ordered and paid for is the bare minimum after you accept the order. Giving them what they ordered after you accept the order is the bare minimum. There has been a time where a lady tipped me nothing but $3. I accepted the order because it made my pockets happy. That's what I call those orders. If your order makes my pockets happy, I'll do what you need. Okay. My rule is I don't take anything under $5, and then it also needs to be at least $1 per mile. I think this order was like $5.50, and then I only had to go 3 miles for it. Bingo, I'm taking it. I go to Taco Bell, I leave. She goes, was there a drink that came with this? And I was like, oh my goodness, they suck. They forgot it. I'm about to go get it. Can you stay out here? She was smoking a cigarette. I was like, I said, can you stay in the lobby? She was like, I'm smoking a cigarette, girl. I'll be out here. I said, give me about 10 minutes. I go back. I come back. Okay. She's like, I wish I could cash up you. No need to. You have already paid me. I accepted this order. It was my job to make sure that you got that drink. I have no idea why DoorDashers are extremely entitled. I promise y'all, they have not put anything out yet. There are people riding around with 0%, 1% acceptance rates. You do not have to have a certain type of acceptance rate, okay? They lie to scare people. Like, that is another reason why I'm in a DoorDash group, just to see what limits you can push. But you don't have to have this great acceptance rate to get orders. It's either you're in a city where it's booming or you're in a city where it sucks. So they sit here and they accept these orders just to treat people like crap. Then talk about how they're 1099 workers and they're not actually employees. Newsflash. Just because you're a 1099 worker, it does not mean that you own some business and you should go by some type of rules, regulations, and common decency. Like, these people suck. If the restaurant, I've seen them get on there and they'd be like, yeah, I was picking up the order and the restaurant was busy, so they asked me to fill up the drinks. I showed them my contract. I legally am not supposed to be doing that. That is a help. First of all, I would hope and pray that you are delivering people's food with clean hands. First of all. Second of all, if the restaurant is busy and you don't want your time to be affected on your DoorDash, I suggest you take the drinks and you fill them. And then you ask for the stickers afterwards. I don't care anything about, do you know how many drinks I fill? I don't do all that extra, oh, well, the health department says. I don't care anything about that. You want to know why I don't? Because DoorDash is letting people ride around with cigarette butts and trash in their car and delivers people's order. You think I care about what the health department has to say about me filling this drink up and putting it in my clean car? Like, they're terrible people. They just hold the fact that they're 1099 workers over people's heads. I'm starting to think that people are DoorDashers because they're entitled. They want this sense of like, sorry, but it's just this sense of like power. Like, they feel the need to just hold this over people. You don't have to accept orders you're not happy with. If you are not receiving orders that you're happy with back to back to back, you need to go get a real job. And I hate to say real job, but we need to be honest. We sit here and tell servers that they can't live off of serving wages, and it's not fair to expect people to tip because they're servers and that should be like a side gig, nothing you depend on. Okay. Well, I'm going to say the same thing to DoorDashers. It should not be something you could depend on, ever. I have seen people making $1,500 a week off of it. I don't care. I would not depend on it as a job because you have to depend on a car. You have to depend on a car. At least if you have a job that gives you 40 hours a week, you can get you a ride to that job. Like, you either could bond with a coworker and get a job. Hopefully not depend on them. Hopefully you can get your car fixed. But I'm just saying, DoorDash, the only way you could work is if you have a car. At least with actual jobs that are in proximity, some places you could walk. Some places you could catch public transportation. Some places you could Uber. Some places you could ask a friend. You know, this and the other. But like with DoorDash, if you don't have that car, or if something just so happens to happen on your record and DoorDash isn't happy with it, you're screwed. Done for. The platform is going to deactivate your account. So I just think it's sad that it is entitled people to. I literally get on there and DoorDash when I want extra money and I don't want to spend my money. So I consider it girl math. If I get on here and I make $50 and now I'm not spending the money that I made at my job, now to me that's like, oh, I'm not even spending money for real. Because it takes no effort to make $50 on there. But like, you know, that's what I do DoorDash for. I'm never going to get on there and just be like, well, I don't have a job, never going to get a job again. I'm just going to DoorDash because I enjoy being a 1099 worker and holding that over people's heads. DoorDashers suck. I'm telling you. I promise you, and it only happens with DoorDashers. I have never seen it happen with the Uber Eats platform. I'm not going to say Uber because they have issues like Uber Eats. I've never seen it happen with that platform.
Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.